Good evening, everybody. My name is Andrew Shepherd, Chair of the Planning Board. I call this meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. I'd like to have a roll call of all the board members present. So please say your name for the record.
Robert Theron, present.
Hartley Flushaw, present.
Brett King, present.
And Andrew Shepherd, present. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you. I would like to thank all of our veterans, those currently serving here and abroad, their families, and those who contribute their time to public service. I think we owe them our gratitude. This meeting is being recorded. It will be uploaded to the Town of Townsend YouTube channel. And I do not believe I do have an addition. It will be to revote the A&R on 198 North End Road. It appears at our last meeting we made the motion, but we did not vote formally. So, and then we'll move from 1.4 right to 1.5. So we'll do the revote right after we look at the minutes. Does anybody have any comments? 1.5 for the meeting minutes from November 17th.
I looked at them and I was happy with them.
Okay.
Yep. Good one.
Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 17th.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of 11:20, so
11:17.
11:17.
I second the motion.
Okay. I'd like to go around the table for those who,
Robert Theron, aye.
Hartley Flushaw, aye.
Brett King, aye.
and Andrew Shepherd, aye. So next, I would like to, let me make sure I find the spot so we can get the wording right.
2.1.
Yeah, 2.1. For the new. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the endorsement of an A&R plan for 198 North End Road, Townsend, Mass. Robert, you moved it the last time,
Okay,
if you wish to do it again.
I will.
Okay,
I so move that we approve the site plan
A&R,
A&R for North End Road.
okay.
I second the motion.
Second, I'd like to go around the table again.
Robert Theron, aye.
Hartley Flushaw, aye.
Brett King, aye.
Andrew Shepherd, aye. All right. So that takes care of those two. And then, perfect timing, at 6:35, we have 48 West Elm Street, site plan review application for accessory dwelling unit detached. We do have a draft decision in the portal.
I think he's right next to you.
So staff review comments. The assessor says looks good. The conservation agent says there are not any perceivable wetlands related to 48 West Elm Street. Therefore, the Conservation Commission has no issue. The building department says the building department is familiar with this application and has no issue. The water department superintendent says living space requires a new water service and separate water meter. The Board of Health agent says I have the septic plan, but still need to review it and put it in front of the Townsend Board of Health for their review/approval. If approved, the primary dwelling in the ADU would not be able to have more than 4 bedrooms as identified by reference law combined. Let me know if you have any questions about this. And then we have a draft decision here as well. Let's see. Got the highlighted in blue. Is that?
That's all. Those are the things I went over with the applicant. And,
Okay.
The statement of case was probably something I needed to updo, kind of touch up a little bit, because that was a decision for another project, but I think it's pretty close. But anyway, you can look over the architectural design as well as the plans. They have here. Applicants are both here. You probably already called them.
Would you guys like to look at them? Does anyone
Well,
need to look?
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question here. The zoning bylaw that, for the ADU, I thought said, up to 900 square feet. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Huh?
Yeah, 50%.
Right. Somewhere in the documents, somebody said something about 700 square feet, but I wanted to be clear that as far as I was concerned, it was 900 square feet maximum. And so that's why I asked why, is this a request for a special permit?
The way the ADU bylaw was written, I believe by us,
Mhm.
was that anything that is within the existing structure or in accessory buildings, we don't need to see it all.
Right, so I'm
If it's a-
wondering,
If it's outside of the scope of anything already built, then we wanted to look at it to make sure that, I think the intent was parking and, you know, it was reasonably accessible for emergencies or anything like that.
okay.
I think that's broadly what we.
Cause I thought the whole purpose was to eliminate all these ADU applications.
Sure. We could probably revisit that if that's what we wish. I mean, I think we're kind of intending to be, I've always felt as the board, you know, we want to be nimble, and as this new law develops, if we find that we don't need to be doing this anymore, we could probably try to change the bylaw. But as of right now, this is the process.
Well, as far as I see with this applicant, everything complies already.
Sure, as all that largely have come before us, they've more been stamped.
Okay.
So, any questions or comments from the board or applicants? Do you have any questions or comments?
Not really, no.
Fair enough. Okay. I don't have any issues. So Beth, you believe or mentioned that you think there needs to be some refining on the decision?
Maybe just, I would recommend adding a condition that, you know, they go ahead and get the water meter, you know, installed. But I think all the other conditions are pretty much standard, right?
Well, just in addressing that, that would be normal for any permit application anyway, so I think henceforward, if the other requirements are met by the bylaw as we wrote it, no application would be needed for a special permit for that.
No, we can't do that in a public meeting.
I'm sorry?
That can't, no, you already have a bylaw and a site plan approval process in the code. So you can't, waive all future applications for ADUs.
So not yet. We can talk about that later, I suppose.
Say what?
We can talk about changing the bylaw
Okay.
in a substantive way later.
All right, thanks.
So I think there is a condition on here that says the applicant shall contact the water department to obtain a new water utility meter and any requirements of that department. So I think
We're all set, yeah.
that seems reasonable.
That's good.
Everything else,
So, yeah, just read the motions then, yeah.
so if there's no other questions from the board, then I will make a motion Andrew Shepherd, make a motion to approve the conditions, the site plan approval application for a detached accessory dwelling unit at 48 West Elm Street, West Townsend, Mass, based on the findings of fact and to be built according to the plans and reports submitted.
I second that motion.
Excellent. So you being
Robert Theron.
excellent. Like to go around the table for our votes. We'll start with you, Robert.
Robert Theron, yes.
Hartley Flushaw, yes.
Brett King, yes.
And Andrew Shepherd, yes.
I will write that up and get that out to you Wednesday, okay?
Okay.
But you're good to go as far as the building department. I will,
All right, thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Very
I will
good.
contact the
Much
department.
appreciated.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Beth. So that, and then 6:50. Joe Boyle, are you here for the 650 Glen Eaton? Or are you Glen Eaton tonight?
I am here for that, yes. Glenn was going to attend in person. Is he not there?
Oh, not yet. So oh, I see. If I read quick enough, I would have noted Beth's notes that say in person. So I think we'll be waiting then for the next 8 minutes.
Do I have a spot for you?
Oops, sorry about that. Is this? I hope. Did you have something you can jump on your agenda? Something else on the agenda?
We'll come up with something. So if this, Beth, if you can, we can sign it. It's still blue.
Yeah, I'll pick it up. I mean, I'll just work on it now while you guys are doing your.
Do you want us to sign it even with the blue?
No, not yet. I'll
Okay.
print out another one for you.
I got you.
Welcome.
Hi, Carol.
Let the record show, Carol, how was it?
I finished my other meeting, it was short and sweet.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's see, so we're gonna postpone or we're gonna wait for 2.2. 2.3, we have hi Lori.
I missed you guys so much. I thought I'd bring you a treat. Sit with you for a bit. It's freezing up here.
Yeah.
What about freezing outside too?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we gotta wait for 2.3.
I'm gonna clean this up and print it out for you guys.
Maybe we take a moment to go over our correspondence, Hartley?
Well, why not? Find them here.
And no different than times past, just feel free to hit the general high points of them.
First of all, before I get into the various announcements, let me read this statement from the Montechusett Joint Transportation Committee, Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. There will be a discussion of FFY 2025 corridor profile, Route 119 in Townsend at 3:05 p.m. So the overview of the FFY 2025 UPWP project in Townsend. And that will, if I can, okay, so that's that. This is from the Town of Lunenburg Planning Board, Notice of Decision 225 Sunny Hill Road, stormwater permit with conditions, application purpose, construction of a single-family home driveway, domestic sewer and water services, drainage improvements, and associated grading. This is from the Town of Groton. Planning Board Public Hearing Notice, Site Plan Review, Auto Sales, 14 Town Line Road. The Groton Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday, December 11th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Groton Town Hall. Town of Shirley Planning Board, decision of the Planning Board for the special permit and site plan review applications at Great Road, Shirley, Mass. 01464, parcel 72A 1.4. For the construction of a single-family house. This parcel is located on Great Road, parcel ID 72A 1.4 in the North Shirley Village Business District. Copy of this application can be obtained from the town clerk. Planning Board decision, Vice Chair Owelski, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, made the motion to approve the special permit and site plan for the construction of a single-family home on map 72, parcel A, 1.4 Parker at Great Road, Jeffrey G. Dusty, 206R Great Road, Shirley, Mass, with the following conditions and conditions follow. This is from the Town of Lunenburg Office of the Planning Board. There will be a public hearing on December 15th, 2025, 6:05 p.m. at 17 Main Street, Lunenburg, Massachusetts, 0 Reservoir Road. Planning Board stormwater permit, an application for a stormwater permit pursuant to section 204 -1 of the Code of the Town of Lunenburg by Justin St. Clair for the proposed residential development consisting of 4 single-family homes. Now, Town of Pepperell Board of Appeals, notice of decision, a zoning board of appeals variance has been denied. A variance to construct a 10-foot by 15-foot, 150 square foot mudroom and a 32-foot by 30-foot, 960 square foot garage. That has been denied. Town of Pepperell, notice of decision. Notice is hereby given that a zoning board of appeals order on an administrative appeal has been issued. William Granfield, on behalf of Brian Spencer, owner of property at 4 Hyacinth Drive, as shown on tax map 17, parcel 95-0, and by a deed recorded at the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds, book 73639, page 553. And that is all I have as far as these communications.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hartley. So we've got 2 minutes. I believe Glenn has joined us. Excellent. I think we'll wait 2 minutes until we hit our designated time we've announced. We may have a flood of individuals that will come join us in that period. That's very kind of you. What else do we have going on? Administrative, we get the administrative report, maybe when Beth gets back. I don't know if there's, Beth, do you know if there's updates from the planning board representative on the community preservation committee?
Maybe I defer to you.
We got a report
3.3?
tonight from Veronica about something moving forward.
I think things are moving well. You're getting people appointed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there one new from your board?
Lance McNally.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We already appointed them. They haven't met yet. There's still vacancies.
Okay, thank you.
Any, or updates regarding town properties committee, MRPC and MJTC?
Are you on town properties?
I believe so, but I haven't,
They haven't met yet.
Yeah.
but they haven't, nobody's
They
contacted
have
me
not
yet.
met yet.
Okay.
And MJTC, my update is on Wednesday, there's a meeting. And they're going to present the Route 119 corridor analysis. So if anybody wants to log in, it's online. It's gonna be around 2:30, 3 o'clock for MJTC,
When's that?
Wednesday, the 10th.
And then Hartley, have you been able to make any of the MRPC meetings?
I wasn't able to make one last week.
Okay.
Because I had to work.
Sure.
So, my apologies, but Beth and I have talked about this. I'm going to, she has sent me a list of those upcoming meetings, and I'm going to, cross-check them with, my supervisors at TCAM. And if there are meetings coming up I can't attend, I'll let Beth know in advance.
Fair enough.
Then, Val Goodrich on, select board is the backup
Okay,
for you. So if you can't make a meeting, then the select board member that was appointed, which is Val,
okay,
can make it for the town,
thank you.
okay?
I'd like to ask, on the earlier topic about the, Preservation Committee. I'm on the, Parks and Recreation, and Parks and Recreation had nominated me to be on that committee,
Okay,
and I wasn't aware of any meeting.
they haven't met yet because they don't have a full meeting,
Oh, they haven't?
no.
Oh,
The
okay.
report came on, conservation restriction, so which has to do with soccer fields or something like that. And that's what I was mixing that up.
Oh, okay,
But they have not met yet.
okay.
And if you have been nominated by Parks and Recreation, just, when you're in the building, or send Sabrina a note. Send Sabrina a
Okay.
note, and she'll tell you what to do,
All right, thank you.
okay?
All right, so we've hit our, unfortunately, there's not been a rush of individuals to attend. But Glenn, thank you for joining us in person, and Joe, thank you for being here tonight as well. Would you mind introducing yourself and talking to us and for giving us the update?
I'm happy. Do you want me to sit here? Because I like chairs between me and.
Whatever's gonna unlock your presentation skills.
That bad?
No, actually, I think, can you give me a time limit? 10 minutes?
35.
Huh?
45.
Oh, really?
No, I'll cut
Okay,
you
let me try to sing this tune in 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's
All right. Let me first hand out, packets. Now, we're gonna hit some highlights in the document on the top. And then if you have questions about the remaining document, I'll go over. The second document, there you go, and I'll get to the packets here. If you have questions about the second document is,
Thank you.
I believe I've got it.
you got both?
I have no
I
idea.
don't know, he just
I'll
said.
just
I'll tell you, just give the whole, just go ahead. Otherwise, I feel bad, but I wish the shit for it. The first document is really a draft internal report, or it'll turn into final report eventually.
Speech or anything?
What's that?
Like a speech or anything?
Well, I sent you both just in case you wanted to, so if you're gonna share anything, I would do this document.
Okay, sure.
I have a habit of working backwards, so I'm gonna go with page 31 or something, and I'll let people know.
Okay.
Okay, Beth? Awesome. So I want to credit and thank Joe for being here also. Joe's been very helpful, to me on this report as I'm trying to help out get this finished and get over the goal line. And our goal is to get all of our reports done by December 30th in this funding world, in this particular category called District Local Technical Assistance Projects. So I want to thank Joe publicly because he's been someone I can lean on to get this done. So we have, if you want to go to the top document, and if you want to go to, you get the right page, it's up front somewhere. Page 5. This is a screenshot of the scope of services for this contract. So basically, it says marketing strategy, and I'm trying to write a report within that concept. And marketing strategy can be, JP Morgan hires somebody for $1 million. You hired us for a free grant, and we're trying to give you $1 million of quality. But that's my whole budget for the agency. So I can't give you $1 million in services. But we're trying to give you something meaningful. That's very, very important to us, and it should be for you. And I'm sure it is. So that's the scope. If you want to refer back to it at all during the meeting, go ahead. In this document, what I'd like to do is I tend to work backwards in these things. And if you go to page 31. So we did a community-wide or a town-wide survey in the May-June window. Now, we don't like survey responses when the numbers are on the low side. The reality is that national surveys, national polls are based on response rates of 2,000 to 4,000 people. Only 56 people responded to this. Now, I felt as though we have enough responses to find some common themes, and that's good. In other words, more than 3 people responded. But, you know, I feel a lot better with 500 or 560, but it is what it is. It's fascinating to read the results, and I'll highlight quickly on page 31, under the rural and natural character, what we've done here is we've kind of categorized under certain themes, rural, natural character, some of the words that were used by the survey respondents. You know, such as on page 31, rural natural character, the 4th bullet down, nature-oriented, 5th one, preserved land, 5, outdoor activities. So these are just not quantified, and these aren't weighted in any response. These are just some of the words that people used when they responded to the 16 questions in the survey. On page 32, under community and friendliness, the inhabitants, they like their town. You know, and everybody's kind of prideful of where they live and work, or where they work especially, right? You have, I find, and I'll go off on a slight tangent, you have a lot of historic identity, but you have a very rich historical and cultural community that I live in Templeton, I was born and raised there, and we have a lot of that too, but you have really great assets that you preserve and you have preserved, and you should use those to promote. So I'm a little jealous of that because in my hometown, we have a very active historic society now. And they've saved the local Grange Hall, and we have a nice historic building and visitor center and so on. But, our towns do things a little differently than my town does than yours. But I want to say you really kind of knock it out of the park with preserving historic character and historic assets. And that's really great to see. Summary of the themes is on page 33. Rural country nature bucolic, scenic, outdoor quiet, small town charm, old fashioned, community and friendly, and welcoming, historical identity. And then there's critical feedback, which I'm not going to go into the details. People don't give a survey without criticizing something. Take it for what it's worth, take the good comments for what they're worth, take a big picture, and then move on. I don't put a lot of weight in people when they're being what I call brave behind keyboard or BBK. Everybody can do that, and it's like, okay, acknowledge it. And to me, it's more, why did they say something that they said on the positive side or the adverse side? And then really try to dig in a little bit more to try to pull out what they really mean. To me, that's where a survey like this has some meaning. Go on in.
Sorry for the interruption.
Dedication.
That's dedicated. But yeah, did you climb up all the stairs like that?
No.
I hope you took the elevator. Just so you know, I'm on page 33 of the top document. All right, and I'm just summarizing survey results right now. So continuing to work backwards a little bit, we're going to go to page 30. And I want to credit the team for coming up with some buzzwords. And the team, I had a meeting with planning development staff a couple weeks ago. We talked about this project among others. And one of our planners threw out the word connected. Your community is connected by the Squanicook. And the three major, I'm going to call them villages or areas of population concentration, Townsend Harbor, West Townsend, Townsend Center, are connected by the river. So this word connected was a buzzword in our office about a couple weeks ago. And obviously it's Townsend. And the authentic, I believe, Joe, was Joe's word when we were talking about your West Townsend antique cluster, your antique center, connected authentic Townsend, because what you're selling, when you're selling antiques, is one example. They're authentic, they're real. And so Joe came up with this tagline, I think it was last Monday or Tuesday. So I'm leading off with that one. There are other taglines, there are other ideas, but the point is, you need to have a brand or a message if you're gonna do some marketing, if you're gonna go down that road. Keep it simple, KISS is really the theme here. In the middle of that page, under promotional channels, I wrote down social media influence. I highlighted that in red for a reason I'm going to discuss about, let me just call it the Groton example, the town of Groton example in a few minutes. And then I have under measures of success, which is related to social media influence, number of views on Facebook from creation and publication of a promotional video created by the social influencer discussed under item number 1, digital preference above. And let me go off on that tangent very quickly. So for about $2,500, there's the Destination Groton Committee. They're appointed by the Board of Selectmen in the town of Groton, Greg Sheldon and Jeff Gordon. I think they're like co-leads or co-chairs on this committee. I know you know these people through your day job. They're really, really dynamic people. And they have a bunch of other good people. They basically, I think they got a budget of like 10 grand from the town meeting through the Board of Selectmen in the last town meeting. I'm not sure of the dates right now. And they took $2,500 and they interviewed, and I happened to be at a meeting with them about a year, 15 months ago, when they interviewed this individual whose career is about publicizing, marketing, making videos, and promotions. She used to work for either ABC or CBS. And she said in the interview, I was fired and I created my career over here to help people out. For $2,500, she did an incredible video. Beth, when I have it, when I can figure out where it is in my email, I'll forward it to you if you want to share. Because all of a sudden it made Groton look like just as exciting to visit as downtown Boston and walking the Freedom Trail. It was just amazing for a couple grand what this video did. They had over, within the first 30 to 60 days, they had 50 to 60,000 views on Facebook. Within 3 to 6 months, they had over 500,000 views on Facebook. My point is, if you want a marketing strategy, you're gonna market, we all know how to market things, whether it's, digital, whether it's brochures, whether it's cross-marketing. Another point that Joe brought up to me about cross-marketing your farm stands with your antique stores, with, cultural assets, historic side buildings, and other places in the community, retail shops. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of your restaurant in downtown when I come in over the bridge. On the right.
Townsend House?
Yes, thank you. See, I don't know your town as well as you do, so I'm gonna need your help tonight. But this video was really very good, and for short money, I mean, you could spend 10, 20 grand on videos for companies. And this young lady knocked it out of the park. I thought she did a good job, and I will provide you with her contact information. I think that's one strategy to get a lot of exposure for peanuts. Now, 2,500 is not peanuts, it's a lot of money, but at the same time, in the grand scheme of things, I will share with you, at MRPC, we've spent 2 or 3 grand about 6 months ago to have 10 educational tutorial marketing monthly videos for MRPC. What do we do? I didn't know what an RPA was until I took the interview, to be honest with you. Back in '99, I was on the board of selectmen in Templeton. I knew what they were, but I didn't really know what they really did every day. What do they really deliver? Took the interview, got the job, blah, 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 the rest is history. But the reality was my family knows the least about what I do. It's like my siblings and my parents never knew what I did. But the point is, if my own family doesn't know what I do, how do you know what I do, or the agency does, and so on? Can't wait to see you at a meeting. If you ever want to talk to me between meetings, I'm happy to communicate with you, sir, by the way. Happy to help if I can. So we spent about 2 or 3 grand. We're gonna have about 10 videos come out of it. We did about 10 interviews with 10 of the 18 staff or 16 staff at the time we did this last fall. They're gonna come out this winter. And it's basically 60-second to 3-minute videos, each of us being interviewed with a lot of B-roll or background roll of a community with voiceover and stuff like that. Who did we hire? Templeton Local Cable Access Television today. I hired the local cable guy, and they're doing the videos for us for 2 grand for 10 videos, at $200 a video. In my final report, or our final report with Joe and me, it'll say, use your assets that you have. I find cable commissions, cable committees, and cable staff to be a wonderful asset in the community. I don't know yours, but everywhere I go, they're fantastic. Yes, sir.
I'm a member. I work for.
Oh, I'm preaching to the choir, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so was I close, hopefully?
Well, we're
Yes.
trying to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Can't get off the ground, but we're trying to do it
You'll absolutely
for our
get there.
town.
Yeah, you'll get there. I can turn you, if you need a colleague or a peer, Steve Castle is our cable
Great,
director, if you ever need to convince for talking.
great. I can direct you to our executive director
Okay,
here in Townsend,
great.
and if we can get something going, that would be great.
I'll bring Steve out, we'll have lunch at Townsend House, and let's
Thank you.
rock and roll. I mean, the taxpayers pay me to do this stuff, so I'm happy to do it, okay? All right, on page 28, it gets a little bit more into the nitty gritty. Now, I think the first one in this report is draft. Pardon me. So it is really important that these are initiatives in a draft format. Excuse me. And what you don't like, you can change. The difficulty about being a public sector planning consultant business is that when we write a report locally, it's typically referred to as the Smith report or the MRPC report. Make this your own. Rip our name out of this in the future. You're going to get all this stuff in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDFs, and Word documents. If you don't like stuff in here, you can feel free to change it after we publish it. But what you do and don't like before, tell us now, and we'll make changes to the report now. So we have an open process to do that. But on the top of page 30, today it's really, I think we all know that if you're not online somewhere or multiple places, then you're really not exposing yourself to a large audience. But there's that example under Launch the Townsend Tourism website. Excuse me, that's the Groton example, they call it, where they had X number of viewers for a 30 or 60-second video for $2,500. And just so you know, on this particular, sorry, I gotta get you that, Beth, I'll email you the contact. I wish I remember her name. Let's just call her Jane for now. I emailed her 3 or 4 months ago because I see the value for MRPC doing a video of this caliber also, $2,500. We have about a $3 million budget realistically. That's great promotion, it's great education, it's great marketing. So I'm gonna use this person as well. Social media, I'll share with what I've learned, which is scary in the social media world, but I'll just tell you MRPC's story. I'm not gonna use TikTok at MRPC, all right? TikTok is for kids dancing, I get that, that's fine. But in some businesses, TikTok can be very powerful. My wife about a year ago started a dog treat production business, so and she's in a store now. So in her case, we talked and I said, I don't think TikTok's for you, but Facebook and Instagram, oh yeah, we gotta use it. So every entity, municipal corporation, a private business, everybody's gonna be different in what social media outlets that they want to use, and these are obviously not the only 3. But you have to be online. You really gotta have online and pushes. The events, I talked a little bit about them on, there are some obviously, some ideas there. This is meant to start creation of ideas and add more to these ideas or subtract them. Again, this is your plan, okay? But Joe had a very good point this morning when he was helping me prepare for tonight's meeting about the events are very important in any community. You want to draw people out. 10 years ago, the town of Winchendon started in the town hall, and they have kind of a great hall structure like you do. It's very similar in kind of volume and square footage. And they started like a vendor's sale in November, December, maybe it was October. They did a fall festival. They had 10 or 20 vendors the first time. Now they have 200 to 250 vendors. It's held in October. They have 6,000 people attend from all over town and all over the region. It's incredible how in 10 years, how much that festival has grown. Businesses will constantly say, if a community can bring people to downtown, then I can take advantage of that and I can sell the food or the widget or the whatever that they're retailing or the antiques and so on and so forth. So there's a connection between events. So if someone's running a lot of events here, that's a good thing. Let them continue to do that and foster that. Your rec department or a private nonprofit, it doesn't matter. But tie the events together with promotional materials that you can have at those events, that you can cross-market your assets in the community. And I mean all your assets. I remember picnicking at Willard Brook State Forest, 40 years ago. It was, my wife's name is Tori, it was BT before Tori. So it was an old girlfriend, we had a picnic, and oh my God, I fell in love with Willard Brook, and we walked, and it's one of the most pristine places in the region that I've ever seen in my life. And at that time I was into hiking and a lot of stuff like that, so I was very outdoorsy.
So Glenn, I don't
Yes.
want to cut you off. We're getting close to the 15 minutes.
Shoot, okay, I'll finish up. And that's why I need a timekeeper. But I've hit the highlights. I really, really have, and I think it's important for you to know. I will close by saying the structure of this report, if you want to go to the table of contents, is on pages 3 and 4. On page 2, we hit you between the eyes with what we think is a decent tagline. This is not a tag, this is just a tagline. This isn't your mission statement, but this is one. Have multiple taglines, connected authentic towns. You can love it or hate it or edit it, that's up to you. But in closing, I do want to say that on the top of page 2, many of the, and I'll quote this out loud. Many of the themes gathered from the townwide survey can be summed up in a response number 39 to question 12. And the question was, which assets do you think are underpromoted or overlooked in Townsend? The respondent said, I feel like town events, local farm stands, and small businesses in our area don't get a lot of attention. And when we moved there, it was easier to find information about businesses and surrounding communities than it was to find in our town, our new town. A website would have been a great idea when I was looking for places to check it out. That really sums up a lot of the themes in the respondents in here. And I'm out of time, so if you have questions, I'd love to field them. Please read this stuff, get back to us as soon as you can, individually, collectively, take any comment, and move forward. And I'm done. Hopefully I did it within 16 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Any questions or comments from the board while we're on here?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have to have a business card, would you?
Not on me, but I will, that's my
You
contact.
know where to find
Okay.
you.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Because
You
I'd like
know where to find
yeah,
me.
I'd like to link you up with TCAM, which is our local cable non-profit community access television corporation,
Sure.
for whom I work.
Yeah.
and connect you with our executive director, and if we can, put something together, that would be a great thing.
If I know Beth by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, you're gonna have my contact, and you just shoot me
Thank you.
anything you want to.
Thank you, Beth.
She already wrote it down, she knows what.
Oh, excellent.
Any other comments or questions from the board members?
And I'm not sure exactly where we are with this and what we're supposed to be doing here, but, in terms of community resources, you know, I'm just talking about things that maybe we can utilize as resources here, and one is the town common itself. And some of the other parks in town. So one of the things that I can say is, having grown up here myself, there were a lot of activities that brought the citizens of Townsend together, besides the band concert, okay? And those included, in this particular building itself, when I was a youngster, the public used the assembly hall. And kids would put plays on, the 4-H would use it for various functions. So the bulk of the time that hall's empty and it's not utilized, and I think that could be promoted and incorporated in this plan. The other resource that has vanished, and I'm very active on Parks and Rec with this, is the loss of natural swimming areas in this town. When I grew up here, there were 7 areas we could swim in town. And now there are only 2 virtually unknown areas. And if you go back in time, when we did have those resources, families got together. There were picnic tables, there were picnics. The Boy Scouts would have a function at a swimming hole. And those resources are lost. And the only 2 resources that we could have had were state parks here, which have not been maintained. And you cannot even swim there now. So I think in terms of what is an attractive and makes the town more desirable would be to recover those lost amenities and to promote them locally, in terms of the citizens of the town. In terms of economic development, all those become forums to have other activities like cookie sales or whatever they might be. So right now, as I see, the only functional thing in town that's being used is the common. And that's pretty well utilized, I would say 80% of the summer season.
But Robert, I just want to make sure we try to be concise somewhat.
Yeah, I'm just trying, I'm not sure exactly what our role here is,
Sure.
but
I think for, sure.
Last night it was the tree lighting. Yesterday was the hall where we had, the Historic Society had its membership meeting and election. And Saturday we had the holiday fair at the senior center and library, and I went towards the end. It was packed.
Oh, yeah,
The parking lot was packed,
Yes.
and it was all along, up and down the school there, and
it
so.
was packed in the morning too.
Yeah, and I got it at the end, because I thought it was gonna be later than that, but I did get to buy some stuff. So,
Yeah.
it was very heartwarming to see all of the stuff that was being done.
You know, I guess, just a plug for the event, like and a plug for the individual that does it, any event that I've ever participated in or seen that Karen Clement touches has like thousands of people that just show
Yes.
up, whether it's the Earth Day that used to be at the Common, but it got, I think, too big. I think that was Earth Day.
Oh, and they put it at the
High
high school?
school,
Or maybe I'm
yeah.
thinking of a different one.
It's at the high school now. It
Yeah.
used to be
Yeah,
on
because
the
of the
common
shredder and all that.
and, but it's
Yeah.
bigger
Or
at the high
The
school.
touch a truck that they do at the library, I mean, it's always.
Oh, the Tuckapalooza and
Yeah,
like, yeah.
she really and her family does a great job putting things together. So I guess the way I understand where we're at now is that this is somewhat of a draft report, and if we have feedback to share with you, Glenn, before it becomes the final report, and from then, it becomes a report that hopefully doesn't sit on a desk or in a shelf, and that there's, what, is there action items in the report about like putting together a committee?
Not yet. I wanted to do this first and then come up with some. We lean toward making some action suggestions in the last few pages that I started with, 31, 30, 29, 28, about, higher social influence.
Sure.
But there's not a list of action items yet, which would be like the last page.
Sure.
Before appendices, if we have appendices, like the survey and the survey results. So right now, it's look it over. I'm gonna keep writing on this, getting Joe's input on this, and then get us input. This will be final on December 30th. So we'll get it to you, PDFs and, like I said, Word documents and PowerPoints and stuff. So you'll have those then, but you'll be able to edit it beyond this. So there might be, this is the final report, but you can edit the documents later. So, and I would keep it a living, breathing document.
Sure.
I think somebody just said that recently.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would imagine maybe this will be the nature, similar to Destination Groton, that it would be the, recommendation to form a committee of some sort similar to that. And potentially if the town has a healthier year at some point, have funding geared towards it.
And funding can be from the private sector too.
Sure.
It can be matched. Sorry.
I was gonna say, is that the name of the video, Destination Groton?
It's not the name of the video. I don't recall. I'm gonna have to find
Okay.
the actual video.
Because I'd like to see that. You said it's
I'll
on
send it to
YouTube.
Beth and she can distribute. I need a business to do that.
Okay, thank you.
It was a few months or a year ago.
And thank Beth as well.
All right, any other questions or comments from the board or for Vicky or Lori or all that are present? Or I guess
Mr.
even.
Chairman?
Sure, yes, Joe.
If I could just add a little bit, something that I heard, I've heard from you before, and I heard very clearly tonight that I think needs to be incorporated in here is that this marketing strategy, marketing document should be directed as much to the residents of Townsend as to visitors to Townsend. One of the things we found in Glenn reports on coming out of the surveys is that there's a whole lot of people reporting that they feel really connected to these different things in towns and to these assets. And another thing that came out of that is there is another group of people who said there's nothing to do here, there's nothing in town, who aren't connected to those assets, apparently don't know about them. So we feel like there's a couple of points there. One, you do have the assets that people can connect to, and two, you have the potential for more growth there, for more people in the town to be more connected to different things in town. Point number two I wanted to bring up, reemphasize, Glenn's talking about cross-marketing. What that means is flyers about your farm stands at the antique stores, flyers about your antique stores at the farm stands, flyers about your antique stores and your farm stands at these community events, and if possible, actual physical presence, a little pop-up farm stand from different places, maybe a little pop-up retail operation or just some sort of display from different antique stores, or from if there's a collection of if there's an organization of the local antiques brokers working together, so that and meanwhile flyers at the antique stores about the public events. That's such an important thing. And by the way, all of these things also making references to the natural and open space resources, especially along the Squanicook. So that's point number two. That's what we're really looking at for that cross marketing. And that is also very closely related to the idea that we're marketing to people in Townsend. The third thing I wanted to bring up was this idea of the video. I just wanted to run this idea by you, see what you thought of it. This idea, authentic. I think that's really a strength that Townsend can play to. So he can feel it's very authentic with its history, with the antiques in particular. I was thinking about starting the video project. Just get B-roll of interviews with antique store owners, talking about the word authentic, the concept of authentic. What's authentic? Show me something authentic. What makes this authentic? What's good about authentic? And just get some footage and some quotes and things like that. I bet that stuff would be amazing as your voiceover for your 30 little quotes in your 30-second video being played over clips of anything. Open space, historic buildings, anything clips. The antique store owners talking about authentic. I think that's really where we start.
I think that's a great idea, Joe. Hartley, I'm happy to hear your comment. I don't know if this will be the brainstorming of video plots, but.
Well, I was just saying as he was talking, someone in Groton Townsend, should pretend we're doing a segment for Channel 5's Chronicle program and think to yourselves, what would Chronicle do if Chronicle came up to Townsend? And I'm thinking that's exactly what, a little bit of the farm stands, a little bit of the antique stores, the 2 state parks, which is a huge asset for the town, and other events going on in town. Pretend we're doing this for Chronicle and, for a half hour or however long we want it. That immediately is my conception of the video.
That's very similar to the Groton example.
Right.
I think there's no shortage of great resources in town and
Right.
minds to make something happen and drive more production and business here. I'll be excited to see, the final product and then hopefully to turn it over to whichever group will lead the charge.
Champions is really one of the last things I wanted to say. I think you mentioned a lady who's running events or someone, or you didn't mention a name, I don't know the person, but you need a champion to do those. And I just want to close by saying that, I'm a history geek and I have to credit John Barrett for recruiting me to do colonial reenactment. And, he musters, and I muster with him on the common sometimes when I can get here. Townsend's my home for reenactment because of John Barrett. And we're geeks, if we can do education anytime about the clothes with food, oh my God, we can't shut up like now. But my point is that there's so much other to do, but there are so many other physical places we can do these at as well. So thank you for your time.
Sure.
One last thing.
Let go.
I have worked for many years now with a very successful documentary filmmaker who's done a number of documentaries on his hometown, historical documentaries about his family, and I'm sure he would love to come in on this as a consultant. So when we get to that stage, I'll be more than happy to help out with that.
That's a great resource.
I just, in terms of more direct interest regarding the planning board itself, I'm very concerned about preserving whatever commercial and business zones that we have in this town, which can be used in developing economic development here. And because there hasn't been a lot of commercial or business activity, the community at large thinks that we don't want them or we don't need them. So as a member of the planning board, and also as a citizen of town, I think we have to be very protective of not losing or changing the use in the business and commercial zones that we currently have. And that's my statement.
Thank you, Robert. All right, I think we're all set. Glenn, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thank you for your time.
And we'll move to item 2.3, which is discussion and consideration of the Townsend zoning bylaw amendment in section 145-29, outline commercial district subsection C, OCD uses allowed by special permit from the Board of Appeals, subsection 5, hotel motel proposed by the zoning board of appeals. And we're fortunate to have Chair Vicky Janicki with us. Vicky, thanks for doing it.
Thanks for having me. So the background to this particular change that we're proposing is, we've been working a case with, a couple of young men who have the cabins up on 13 on Brookline Street. It was grandfathered for a number of things. It's been there forever. And now it's providing sort of longer term housing, but it doesn't fit the OCD zoning. It's a gray area. And as you probably know, the ZBA, we don't deal with gray. It has to be black or white. So we had a nice long discussion last week. And what we believe is the right thing to do here is to update the OCD to allow this particular situation, or if there was another situation in town as well, where the owners could do the long-term rental, within the ZBA, not be in violation, provide affordable housing, but also prevent us from these little cottage type things showing up all over town, in the commercial district. So we went through and came up with this proposal, sort of targeting those particular things. So one is sort of adding to the definition of hotel motel for the purposes of this zoning bylaw, meaning that you can have long-term rentals with a kitchen. What we said, no more than one kitchen, and it needs to be under a certain amount of square footage, which I believe is 700 square feet. We also put a date as well, which follows the pattern we have in our zoning. If you look at the paragraph above it, it talks about hotel motels before, like January 1st, 1970, which was referring to this particular property. So we continue with the pattern that we had before. So our recommendation is to bring this to a town meeting and bring it for a vote. Hopefully it is accepted and we can move on and do the right thing about this property.
Sure, thank you, Vicky. Does any planning board member have any questions or comments or thoughts they'd like to share or ask? I guess that makes perfect sense. I have no issue with it. I don't see a reason to have issue with it.
Didn't they say they were gonna, if I may?
Yeah, please, Laura.
Cause I was at the hearing.
Sure.
Didn't they say they were gonna put the date of January 1st, 2026? So anything before January 1st, 2026?
Yes.
So this would come into play next year, but it wouldn't, this zoning would not be allowed for a newer like development or another piece of land kind of thing. It's not gonna be precedent setting. They're doing this so that the buildings that are already there and probably have been there since before 1970, actually.
Yeah.
They were there when I got here in 76. And it would give them the zoning, the ability to continue the use that it's been permitted before. Whereas right now, with the new owners and what was done, although there's no other structures, they just want to do it long-term, which honestly, they probably always were long-term. Some of them were transient, but others weren't. With Harrison's Motor Court back then.
And just note that this is under the special permit section, so it's not by right. They would need to go through the special permit process to assess traffic and, septic and water and traffic and all that. Yes.
I'm just trying to get a clear picture of what we're trying to do here. So I understand buildings prior to, those would have been considered pre-existing non-conforming, correct?
Yes, but they did changes through the years. In other words, I think originally they probably were cottages, didn't have kitchens.
Right.
And then as time went on and they renovated them and had people living there longer, there were kitchens.
Mhm.
So it's not quite the same.
Right.
In listening to all the board members and of course the new owners, there's people living there. We're short of housing. Nobody's looking to throw all these people out of this affordable housing.
Nobody's questioned that. I just was, trying to make the public more aware of the purpose of what's being proposed here. Thank you.
So this is only gonna be allowed in that area?
Yes.
So it's kind of like spot zoning?
It's anything that would qualify under, it's not the particular lot. And it's, needs to be a hotel motel as an allowed use. So, there's possible I don't know of others in the town at this point that would fall under that. But it gives us, a little more flexibility.
I think we'd like to avoid spot zoning.
Well, right.
Well, it's already,
But it's already started.
existing, it's already special. It's, not to set precedent for other areas. It's to try to keep it the way it is legally so that their permits can continue, or special permits can.
I think that's what we have to consider though. One, just limiting it to this, or if there are other possible things that could happen in town. So I think it would be, the better approach would be to make some provision in the bylaw to give more flexibility in that. So it does not specifically limit, maybe. Is that something we have to look at?
The property is only 2 acres. So for all the other zoning aspects of it, you couldn't have as many cottages as they had. Okay, and you still have to have the septic for that.
I'm just worried about how that would impact any thoughts on tiny home village kind of concepts that could be coming.
Okay. I think that's the planning board's job. This is zoning coming to you with an issue that should be corrected. Planning board, for future developments, wanting to be more flexible with housing, you know, what we've always talked about here is if it's approved by the Board of Health for however many units it is, if it has town water capabilities, then if the Board of Health allows that, conservation allows it, it should be allowable, no matter what size the lot is.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's coming from planning.
So
And
what I'm
future
fishing around for is a mechanism so we don't have to do spot zoning. That's what I'm fishing for, yeah.
Would eliminating the date, eliminating things already existing and allowing that to go forward in future places in OCD zoning? Does that sound like that would?
I think that's what we should be looking at.
So looking at what's allowed in OCD right now, you can have residential, but it's a single family. You can't have multi-family apartments. So it's, currently the way the bylaw is written, even if we took the date out, it doesn't really help with things like if we wanted to encourage like small cottage type developments, because it wouldn't qualify under OCD.
But maybe, and I guess I'm just speaking based on what I'm reading, but like the motion, I think that came from the zoning board.
Yeah.
Adding after the words hotel motel, the following words shall include long-term rentals with kitchens in use. And this is prior to January 1, 2026.
Yeah.
I guess I would be wondering if we eliminate the January 1, the prior to, because that would add the with kitchens and the long-term rental, right? That would.
Yeah.
That would open up that for anything in OCD.
That's where I would say ask legal counsel.
It seems like we're getting into that territory.
Yeah, because, they're zoning,
Sure.
addressing an issue that's come before them. And, I mean, I heard the board going back and forth. They were really, mindful of
Excuse me.
what they were looking to do and how they could do it legally. I don't know, Beth, how do you feel about, because they had a lot of good discussion.
Yeah.
At that, and again, all of it was not to lose the housing and not to misplace the people, but also not to open what might be a Pandora's box. And again, planning gets to see any developments that come before them. And if planning approves them with special permits or not, or variances, if it makes sense, you guys will do it. Because we need housing where it's allowable meaning you can have water and you can have septic. And the Board of Health says, okay, and conservation says you're not affecting the wetlands. The lot should be used.
So we're in OCD right here, right? Just in the center of town.
No, that's downtown commercial.
The map right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
commercial.
it's, yellow downtown commercial. So OCD is sort of pinkish, goes one down here,
Both ends of town,
well,
both
then the,
third
yeah,
floor.
sort of at the end of town, and a little bit on the way to West Townsend. So that's, by the golf course.
Is that the pinkish on some of the Main Street areas?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because you've got outlying commercial on Main Street, but it's between residential homes.
so what I'm worried about is another one of these popping up. Because if you have water and you have septic, by this,
that is
we're
my
saying it
opinion.
couldn't be allowable,
Yeah,
right?
and that's my opinion, it's always been my opinion.
if
on
we
planning
draw
board.
the January 1st.
And do we want to, when people drive into the town, see a bunch of these little cottages?
I guess that would probably be the question for the legal, how do you make sure it's not spot zoning? Or maybe it won't be, as it has been written and presented.
Well, that's why they had the date there, because their conversations in the zoning board was back and forth about, do you want to see all this all over town? Okay, well then, that's why they put the date in. Anything that was built already to take care of this issue, anyway, before the January 1st, 2026.
Well-
And again, anybody who wants to develop here has got to come before planning.
Well, the concern that I think Brett and I have is if a community, not necessarily Townsend, does spot zoning, other abutters can say that their property is devalued or increased in value, whatever they want to say, because this was done on one property. So it can open a whole bunch of other problems when you start doing that, because you gave it to one person, but you didn't give it to other, and there's no way to stop it.
I understand, Robert, but let me put it this way. Being in real estate for a while here in town, the spot zoning on Main Street has not affected the values of any of those homes, and they have not been difficult to sell. You've got an issue now down across from Harbor Auto, that the guy was trying to sell the property that he bought at auction, kind of thing. Well, there may be some issues there, but that will be a great opportunity for zoning, or anybody who is interested to come before zoning to make that the same. That particular property is not zoned the same as Harbor Auto Body,
Well,
and should be. And should be. But that's another issue. But I'm saying, I don't think anybody's property on Main Street or any of the main roads, 13 or 119, which is where you're gonna see this. You're not gonna see it anyplace else. You're only gonna
I've
see
seen
on
it
the
in
main
other
road.
towns, so, okay, I've seen it in other towns,
Oh, other towns.
right, but, so, my question is, and this is where everybody to think about, is what's the difference between spot zoning and getting a variance? for a property.
Variances are given very, very infrequently, and there has to be a compelling reason. In my time on the ZBA, we've only given,
Well, we've given them
so,
on planning.
Yeah.
And she said it right. Specific circumstances and the need, whatever, the board then decides whether or not they're gonna issue the
Yeah, but
variance.
the same argument you use for a variance, isn't it?
But that's what I said.
Yeah.
versus this is.
So the question here is, do we change something in the bylaw when there is the variance opportunity anyway?
This is not a variance situation.
It's
Why?
explicitly prohibited by the bylaws.
Right. This is a special permit issued whenever, for whatever, and it does not, it's not time for a variance. The variance would have been in the beginning,
So
at
it's
the
just,
development, before any of us.
so we're changing the bylaw just for that one property.
Or anything else that might, they threw in the date, so
Yeah.
it would be, should anything else come up, that this would already exist. Like,
So if there was another situation that was the same, it would be treated the same.
So what is
I
the
don't have
trigger?
Benjamin's Motel.
Yeah.
Hotel.
So that would have fallen, I think it's a condos now, but if it
It's
was,
condos.
if it was still a
Townhouse condos.
hotel, and that would be an example of that would.
It was transient housing and they didn't want that. It was all kinds of stuff that went on with that one.
What is the trigger for this? Why do they
sale.
wanna change it?
I think it was the
Cause it's
sale.
existing,
It was pre-existing.
Yeah.
correct?
It was pre-existing, so conveyed, or conveyed with the property,
Hmm.
right?
It was conveyed as, the special permit was for a hotel,
Right,
with a special permit to have kitchens. But it was supposed to be transient,
And now it's permanent,
and
Yes.
now it's long-term.
Long-term.
or long-term.
They're cleaning up something that should have been cleaned up a long time ago.
because I'm pretty familiar with the way that it's run up there, and I might have known the previous owner,
We all knew the previous owner.
half the Harrisons,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all know.
so. I mean, that's the way it was run then, so we're just trying to clean up the
Yeah,
problem.
I'm
But
telling
do
you,
it
there's
in
been
as
long-term for a
general
long
way as
time.
we can. So if there were other instances, it could be covered, but without opening up a window or a door here for this type of property, which is better managed, I think, through the planning board and their special permit process and such, because then you can look at each proposal and make sure it makes sense and what are the right things that they need to consider.
Everybody understands what we're trying to do, okay, so I don't think that's the issue, or the purpose is not the issue. I think the issue is, are we gonna be proposing these are the issues. Proposing a modification to the bylaw. Are we gonna alter definitions? Okay,
We're not altering it.
well, no, I mean, what actions can this board recommend or think of, okay? So this is an existing non-conforming. So I don't know if it necessitates a zoning bylaw change to begin with. If there are other alternatives that can be done. So the question that I need to feel comfortable with is reviewing the other options that exist. One is a variance on the property per se. The other one is expanding the definition of existing it's already existing non-conforming. The use is residential, okay? So I think within some of those, in other words, looking at what we already have what's the best way to modify and how to modify to accommodate what we're trying to do. And that's my concern right now, because I'm not clear on what would be the best approach. And so I think that needs a lot of discussion and within this board.
So one thing to note about a variance, the variance stays with the property versus special limit change, expires with the change of ownership. So
Well,
if you wanted to do permanent use, then you could do a variance.
that's right. So a special permit has a limit.
Right.
The minute that changes, or even the owner changes, that permit can be withdrawn. So we are looking at a better way to keep that permanent. And so we can, I would think a variance would be more appropriate personally than a special permit. I mean, a spot zoning. That's what I see right now without thinking about it in greater depth.
Let's just, I don't wanna totally spend all night talking about this.
Right.
You know, I'm having a lot of fun. Let's go around the table and Hartley, and we'll just, as the board, just, any other thoughts?
Okay, I may be wandering into zoning board territory here, so my
You're in good
apologies
company.
if I do. But, I'm thinking, I think Lori made a good point about the fact that so far in Townsend, we've had in the center of town, downtown, we have had an excellent situation, with businesses coexisting with residents. You know, it's technically, I guess you could say a business district, but, people live there and everyone seems to, approve of that situation. But in terms of now is this, forgive me for my lack of knowledge about this, but is someone actually planning on building a hotel motel?
No, it is,
Yeah.
pre-existing,
Excuse me?
it's pre-existing use.
Okay,
So these cottages have been rented out prior to 1970.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it would not be a situation where a new structure would be built that would impact traffic or sanitation or
And
anything?
that's where having it under the special permit clause
Okay,
allows us to look at those circumstances and determine, is it more detrimental to the neighborhood than the current, current.
I mean, in theory though, it could be, right? They could tear those down.
And that's where with a special permit, if they made a substantial change like that, that permit would no longer be valid.
Sure.
So they would have to go through other mechanisms to build there.
Let's keep going around. I know, Robert, you've got a way with words, but Hartley.
okay, I just wanted to get that clarified. So, it won't directly, affect this proposed change of wordage. Will not directly affect any situation, any business or residential situation existing right now.
And by change, you mean?
Well,
Like
present,
new building or anything like that?
right,
No, they would have to be existing,
okay, existing,
yeah.
okay, thank you.
Right, any thoughts?
I don't know, kind of mixing. So could anybody do that on any other piece?
It would have to be.
That would be planning, not
It would have to
zoning.
be, this is specifically on the outlying commercial district.
Right,
And it would have to be an existing motel hotel in order for them to come under the special permit section, and then it would be used.
so we couldn't just take another piece out of line commercial
No,
and say, I wanna put a motel here.
no, not, outlying commercial district allows, like, is it only one's private generally, 70? I forget, there's like, it's allowed in OCD, but I'm trying to remember if there was a limit on, I think it was, you had to be pre-existing of 1970 in order to be a motel, do you remember?
No.
But,
No,
but,
it's either allowed by right or allowed by special permit.
and I think motels are by special permit.
So just to fill you in a little bit on the meeting itself, the public hearing, what is the date?
Wednesday.
Last Wednesday. So you might want to listen to that meeting. I don't think they have to make a decision tonight anyway. I think you want to listen to that meeting because Vicky is getting really well versed, on the board, but Dave Chanel is now on the board, and you know, he's an attorney. And Darlene Sedano is on the board, and she's been on forever, couple of decades anyway. And you'll hear the back and forth of how the board discussed and why they discussed. And that's why I say, well, whatever warrant articles we do go before town council. And he has to approve the likeliness of it. And he can explain to you when, because you know, there'll have to be a public hearing for the warrant articles. And he can be there and explain, should there be, what would be the downside, what would be the detriment, should this happen, or that there isn't any. I just think that would, I know it gave me a lot more knowledge base on it when I listened to them.
Can I have one final comment here?
Let's just make sure we finish.
I will not exhaust you.
I know you will, but I want to make sure we finish Brett's comments and then we get to Carol. And then I will be happy to have you do the closing bell.
I guess I would just hate to see all of our OCD turn into these little colleges.
At this point, the way that this is written, unless there's a hotel motel there now, couldn't happen. And plus, again, it's under the special permit, so it would have to be reviewed.
Which we could deny.
So
Carol?
this whole thing is just gonna go before the, town to vote on.
Yes, it would be
So-
for town meeting, yes.
So if it gets voted down, then what happens?
They're not-
Good point.
They're out of compliance, and therefore, they would probably have to evict the people who
So-
live there.
Are there other like structures, like old places that may be non-conforming to today's standards? And they couldn't just exist,
Yeah, but there's not multi-housing.
they're not multi.
You know, you're probably single-family homes.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
that wouldn't be the way
It is a very interesting property, what you
Yeah.
got on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know of another property in town that's like it. The closest thing, or what was going on anyway, was Benjamin's Motel.
And
is there a campground or something?
The old Girl Scout camp.
Yeah,
Yeah, but is there anything
part of
there?
State forest now.
No,
It would fall by the state, so.
yeah.
Okay, only because I remember my ex-husband's cousins, aunts owned some campground or
Yeah.
something in town here that for years, I don't know where it was, but I guess I'm
Maybe
okay
on
going.
Benton Pond?
Yeah.
Maybe on Benton Pond area?
It could have been, I mean, I know, I never came and visited it, but they own property in town for years.
And I told Beth, in tonight's select board meeting, our special town meeting isn't going to be the, end of January, which is what we were told, you know, last month, but it will be, February 24th.
Gives us some time,
So it gives you time,
and, yeah,
because there'll be a public hearing on the warrant article, so in the meantime, you don't have to make a recommendation until like 2 weeks before, so you have time to look at their meeting.
I guess my question before we turn it over to Robert, which will happen, would this allow them, I did pull up the E code, and Vicky, I think to your point, section H says motels in operation prior to January 1, 1970 have the capability to expand to a maximum density of 10 units per acre with or without individual kitchens. Would doing this,
But that was hotel motel.
oh, I see.
Okay, now it's going to be
Long-term resident.
long-term
Yeah,
resident.
I get you. Would this allow them to be able to add any more to their property, do we know, based on how the property is configured or any?
I don't
well, it will be under a special permit, and.
Again.
If
that
they
would
had
be,
to.
One of you know, when I look at it, and if we were gonna do a special permit, it would be like, you know, no additional units. A number of, you know, because we wanna deal with traffic as well as septic. I don't think they could get,
Septic,
more,
water.
they just redid the septic, I don't think they could get more units anyway. And again, the special permit gives us that ability to, manage things like building, you know, septic, those kinds of things.
Okay, Robert, bring us home.
The way I see this, I don't think we have to take any action. Anything that happens on that property requires a special permit. This board can make a determination at that time, or a future board, depending on what's being proposed. So I recommend we just leave it as it is. And the thought of going to town meeting with it, a lot of the public, I would assume, would not have any opinion either way. And then I think it's better for the community, because whatever the applicant wants or is considering doing, everybody has an opportunity to review it. We get feedback from the public, and then that governing agency will be able to make a decision. And that's my opinion.
And then just, I guess I have a follow-up question for Vic. If, per Robert's suggestion of do nothing, they remain out of compliance, and then
It's not gonna work.
that doesn't objectively work, you know, what would happen then?
They apply for a special permit.
They won't get it.
Well, they'd have
They
to
won't get it
apply.
because it doesn't comply.
I'm sorry, can you explain that to me?
So so this started when, they tried to modify the permit, which expired, which was already expired. So they applied for a new special permit under pre-existing non-conforming. The problem is they're in the OCD, zone, and that does not allow multifamily long-term residence. So we have a clause in our bylaw, section 145-4, prohibited uses. If it is not explicitly listed in our zoning bylaws, it is therefore prohibited. And that's what we got stuck on. I thought we were gonna be able to go down that path,
Mhm.
and that killed it.
Okay,
So
So it's a tweak
I see.
in the bylaw,
Okay,
so,
so it requires a minor modification.
right.
Okay,
Right.
so the way I
It's not
see
gonna
this
change anything.
is
That's there.
modifying the bylaw. It would still require a special permit without all the technical components that exist now.
it will.
Thank you.
Special permit, yes. And we have our, was it 5 or 6, A through F, we have to go through and make sure that
All right,
it is not more detrimental.
okay. That I can work with.
Do you need us as the planning board to vote or move anything at
I
this time?
think on that time, I guess the process is we do a public hearing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
the planning
The
board.
planning board
From
would do.
here,
Okay.
you could vote to bring this forward, or however you wanna make your motion. It doesn't have to be verbatim what they're proposing, because it has to go through review, legal review.
Sure.
So,
So maybe I'd like to entertain a motion to move the proposed zoning bylaw amendment to legal review, and then with the anticipation of bringing it forward for further consideration.
So moved.
Second.
Technically, in Robert's rules, we're now in discussion, so it looks
Go ahead,
like
Robert.
It's in discussion.
we're discussing now. There's a motion on the table.
I'd like another opportunity to review the language of that.
Before it goes to the legal review?
Right. So that everybody has a chance to think of everything that's there, or a better way to word it, or whatever.
Well, that's what the legal review would be.
yeah, I think that's what my expectation is that.
Well, a legal review means that they don't see any issue with it.
It's a legal review.
But there may be other opportunities to make it better or whatever, so.
has to be a zoning
So
reg.
I guess while we're still discussing this motion, would the board be more inclined for a motion to just bring it up at another subsequent meeting?
That's correct.
And then we discuss the potential options?
I make that motion.
Okay, well, I think this could be our first no vote as a board, but we have a motion on the table. I believe we must vote on it. So, all those in
Okay.
favor of the motion
That was previous.
that was previous, that Carol graciously moved, say aye.
Let's see.
Or- All right, how's this? Everyone go around the table, say which how you vote. So,
No.
Aye.
I would also say aye, so I guess it did pass, and it will go to legal review as
Okay.
is. But,
Okay, no,
I
we still have the
think-
public
I think
hearing.
you
and-
should,
yeah, that is far from done.
Right,
I mean,
Yeah.
if we may get to the point where legal counsel reviews it, says it's fine, and then we have our discussion then, and then
Yeah.
we say, bring it back.
So why don't you just spinning your wheels?
Are we just spinning the wheel? Well, I guess,
All right.
wouldn't, well, if that happened, then that would be spinning wheels.
To submit it to legal without further
I-
diagnostic?
I would look at the meeting, I would look at the hearing, listen to the hearing, listen to the discussion, I think your questions will be answered. I may not be able to express them correctly to you, and I apologize, but I really think that you should listen to what the zoning board all discussed and how they came to the conclusion. I
So
think that would be helpful.
we have made a motion, we have voted, so, and it has passed, but I guess let's just recap as a board to see if we need to readjust anything. Let's just go around one more time. I felt comfortable with the zoning as proposed and having it be reviewed by legal, and if legal approves it, potentially bringing it to the town. Robert?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay,
I approve.
okay,
Aye.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm comfortable with what you presented.
okay, so I think in that
Ready
case,
for the
then
next step.
we're okay with it.
The motion was to bring the proposal
The proposed,
to legal review.
Yep.
And with the intent of bringing it to town meeting vote, correct?
correct.
Did anyone second
Yeah,
Hartley did.
Hartley did.
Carol made a motion, Harvey said.
it? You made the motion?
Yeah, okay, then Hartley seconded.
Okay, got it, thanks.
Okay, all right, thank you very much, Vicky.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excellent. Fair enough. Okay, so that now brings us to 2.4, discussion and consideration of updates to the Town of Townsend stormwater management bylaws and regulations.
So a quick update on that. Right now, we did meet with EPA and, the town needs to, do some, add some stuff, you could basically add it in. I think we're gonna be able to add it into the regulations. Bob Garside's working on that. So we have let's see, right now we're under administrative notice. And that means basically we have a deadline of getting this approved by May 29th. So it's in the works and we owe them a draft by February 14th of the regulations, what we need to add to stay in compliance. If we don't make administrative notice, they wouldn't tell me what happens next, but that's,
Could be
yeah,
nothing.
not good. No.
What are we out of compliance on? Did they tell you?
Yes, I have that in your, that's
Okay.
in your portal. So there are 2 sections that were added, and I haven't dug down into it.
Okay.
They gave us the words
Yeah.
that they want.
Oh, yeah, we have the words, and that's what I asked. I said, can we just take this and put it in? They're
Yeah,
like, well, yeah, but they kept wanting to say, well, you might want to go through and see, you know.
well, some of it may not apply, 'cause a lot of government agencies have this thing, you should look at it. down a little bit,
Yeah, and it wasn't anything like
but for the most part,
egregious. I think it was just they told us they went through the towns alphabetically, and there are many other towns that missed this. So we weren't really out of luck. They got to towns
but
and
you
they got to the T's.
you can just take whatever they say, and stick it in there, they usually have it.
Yeah, and if it's under regulations, it'll be done, in a meeting or two.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So no action from us at this time.
No, I would make an informal support vote of the process, being that it is a requirement. It's not an option. It has to go and be done, so it's, that we can.
We would vote, would that be premature? Or would we vote to have the building commissioner propose what we're required to do?
I think
Can we just
should
wait till
vote
it's
that
ready?
you support the process.
Why do we even have, I mean, if it's a requirement by the state, I don't even know why we vote on this stuff. Just do it.
Just do it.
I mean, just like the state
I like
comes,
Carol's vote,
I
let's
mean,
just do it.
just like the state says we have to comply with the MBTA Act, and we go through this vote.
Stuff,
That really isn't a vote, it's not a free election, because you get all these penalties if you don't go along with what the state mandates.
So if you don't have to vote, I'll take that back and we'll just go ahead and I'll keep you updated.
Okay, so that's 2.4. We've done 3.1, 3.2, the administrative report.
It's in your folders, it's basically all the permit related communications, I think I took it out a few things, but we can go that, through that out of session.
Okay. We did 3.3, 3.4, so the Route 119 corridor analysis. We talked to the state about talking to the state. And, well, that's the extent of it. So we haven't talked to the state informally, but I think Beth, myself, hopefully Kieran and Jim Smith will have like an intro meeting with a woman named Ann Sullivan from MassDOT District 3. She manages the TIPS projects. And we're gonna ask her essentially about, what would it take to have this be considered for a TIPS project? Or if I talked to her very briefly. She was concerned about having too many people there, which is totally reasonable. And she had already mentioned that she's already received some sort of analysis on that Four Corners intersection by the high school. So that's already in their system. I don't know if I got a hard update for like, if it's on the TIPS track or not, but that's kind of where that is. So once we meet with them, we'll have a better idea for,
What can we
would they-
expect now?
So when you meet with them, will they give you a plan?
That sounds very optimistic for a meeting with the state.
Or what is it that you're gonna get out
I
of
think
this
the
meeting?
goal, in my mind, what the goal would be to figure out from them what could be the scale and the scope, or what would they need to get it in their pipeline. She told-
Because I know one of the projects, or one of the recommendations was that in this high school have the pickup
Sure,
on 119.
sure,
And because I pick up my granddaughter at the high school,
sure.
that's a terrible idea.
No, sure. So I think that's, part of it in an attempt to limit the number of, I don't think any of it is substantive on action or substantive on solution. I think it's more, what are the options here from the state side?
Will they give us funding?
Yeah, more or less, and
Okay.
potentially how much, or how would they fund it, or could they access federal funds, or it's trying to
Okay.
figure out some of those earlier
Okay.
pieces before getting to the point.
So are we trying to get funding?
This is the whole corridor analysis.
It's the whole corridor, but what they did is, one of their recommendations was in front of the high school on 119, was to have a pickup. So you pick up the high school students on 119, right now, because right now I pick up my granddaughter at the high school.
At the high school, but not on one
No,
nineteen.
but they had, on one of their, in the analysis, they had a little, on 119, a pickup, and that was one of their recommendations, was to pick up the kids on 119 and have like a little
Indentation in the road,
indentation.
so they go into
obviously not the road, but the high school area.
It's like a frontage road.
Well, no, like right in front of, you know, that grass
So-
strip in front of the
Yeah.
high school, so you could be like an indentation. But the problem is, you've got high school kids, now you got all the vans lined up, and all these kids have to come, if you did that, you'd have cars coming in, and then they'd be backed up on 119 because you're waiting for the kids to come, and then you'd have all these cars backed up on 119. And then the kids have to walk from there in between all the little vans that are lined up, plus all the student cars, and then come across the grass strip. So right now you go behind the school, they come out the little back gate, there's no traffic there,
Right.
you're all lined up, and there's
It sounds
no,
like they haven't been up to Townsend
and,
to see how it works.
and it's like, when they show that on there, it's like, that's a terrible, cause
So they also proposed removing large amounts of fill from the road. They proposed
Oh, yeah.
changing, I mean, like the scale and scope that was
It's
proposed.
huge.
It went from adding crosswalks and stop signs to, a $20 million project.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, the
Like
berms or something, or yeah.
The whole
yeah.
frontage road going where all those retail shops are.
And to Chair
But-
Shepherd's point, he
Yeah,
really
it's-
wants to find out what the state jurisdictionally can do or may have interest in before we come to the local level.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we're just spinning our wheels if we're having these discussions in the
Yeah.
Right,
state.
how can we
So
control
do
that?
Jurisdiction
Do you think-
over one
Do you think
another.
they'd tell you, like,
Have a lot of
we
discussion.
might have this much of a grant set aside?
I don't know what they would,
Or-
I don't know, so, like, when I briefly talked to Mike Bussell, who was the town administrator in Ashby when they did the rotary on the end of Wheeler Road. And he more approached it with them, they had to do
RSA?
an RSA,
Yeah, road safety audit.
a road safety audit, and they had plenty of high-speed accidents up there. So when I talked to her
Yeah.
briefly, she kind of talked like they would need to do an RSA themselves and identify, they would, I think they would take in the study that was done,
Mhm.
and then I think they would do their own study. And this is the type of thing that we're trying to clarify, figure out what they would actually.
So very, very early.
Yeah, she told me on the phone, she said, yeah, the timeline is 5 to 10 years for them to
Oh.
execute on anything.
Well, yeah,
So I would expect this board to turn over.
oh, yeah, yeah, I'll be gone.
And if it doesn't, you should get a certificate for your volunteerism.
But that rotary there by Wheeler Road in Nashville, whatever that road is, that was probably not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's flat,
Sure.
it's flat there, cause I used to drive up there a lot.
Sure.
With that road, I used to travel that road a lot for softball or whatever.
Sure.
And, so the rotary did
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
I don't see a rotary at the end of the hill here. but-
yeah, I will not tie myself to any certain idea
Hey.
by any means.
Whatever.
We'll just see if they have money and if they're willing to pay for something, because I don't expect any municipality to have excess amounts of dollars to do that
Mm.
at the moment. Okay, so that's 3.4. 3.5, board webpage update.
Yeah, just kind of wanted to update the board. All the reports and the latest revisions of all the planning reports are now up on the reports and documents section of the planning board page. Anytime you need to check anything or review anything, it's all there. So I just updated everything. There's transportation, there's the master plan, there's the housing plan, and all in one place.
That's the
One
one,
stop shopping.
is that the OneDrive? In the
That
OneDrive?
is not, that's on the town website,
Oh,
so,
okay.
I did put a guide in your packet, so you can navigate to it and you just read everything. And I hate to do this, but I have to go back to the, a pertinent part of the report. We did get a new application just today, it's an A&R application, so we would have to meet next Monday, if that's okay.
That will be what, we will have to, I suppose.
Okay, so 15,
Okay,
and I'll have that all ready for you.
so we will have a meeting next Monday, the 15th.
The 15th?
The 15th, next Monday. It should be pretty judicious, for an A&R, so. If it's remote, if you gotta be remote, I think that's okay too. Okay, so that's 3.5. 4.1, I don't know if the Citizens Planner Training Collaborative still has winter sessions, but
I did the 40B session
Oh,
last
nice.
Wednesday, it was good, Tuesday night. It
Nice.
was good.
okay.
Which one did you do?
40B.
Oh,
Yeah, so I know we haven't had any in a bit, but I wanted to make sure I was, refreshed, because I work with the ZBA as well, they're the permitting body. But there are a few more in there, I'd recommend, just looking down the list, see something like.
Okay, so next meeting, oh, we already have it scheduled here, so, oh, tentative, sure. So December 15th, that'll be the last meeting in December. So I'd like, and then the following will be the first meeting in January 12th. So I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at, what is it, 8:17?
Let's go around the table so everyone knows how everyone voted. In a second,
Second, Robert, they're in second.
and your vote?
Yes.
Yes. Brett King, yes.
Yes.
You have to say your name.
Brett did it right.
Right?
Oh, hardly a
Oh.
pleasure, yes.
I'm gonna say Andrew Shepherd, no, but I've been outruled.
Okay, Carol Hoff says yes.
And the meeting has been adjourned.